Today I have this. I'm going to run through some terminologies, technical terms which are related with the shamatha or the calm abiding meditation. So I mean, don't worry if you just don't get it. Don't worry. I'm just going to give you a flash. You can just like watch it like a movie. If you don't catch it, don't worry. I can, if you want, I can even send you in email this one. But to make it easy and also for convenience sake, I just made a very simple presentation in Microsoft PowerPoint. So yeah, and I'm going to talk about these 9 ways of resting the mind or shamatha or calm abiding. There are a lot of like Tibetan word for that shamatha is shine. Shi means peaceful, peace or calm. Then ne means abiding or being in that, resting in that. Shine, so calm, abiding. So there are 9 ways of resting the mind, or there's like different stages, nine to attend that shamatha or calm abiding aspect of the mind. So this is what we can achieve in the desire realm. So actually, in the Buddhist cosmology, we have desire realm, form realm, formless realm. So form realm is we don't have the form, but just the mind, mental state. Formless realm also mental state, but subtle type of mental state. So here in desire realm, which is the human realm, all the 6 different realms, we can achieve this mental state, which is called shamatha or calm abiding, which is also synonymous to single-pointed, single-pointed mental state. And here, when we say 9 ways of resting the mind, the ninth one is that one, which we can achieve. So that is the way, that is the point or state where we gain both the pliancy of body and mind. In previous um, uh, talk, I mentioned that the benefits of the shamatha. So all this mundane, worldly, and supramundane spiritual journey, everything can be achieved. All this quality, it says in the scriptures, that all the qualities of 3 vehicles and systems are achieved through these calm abiding and the vipassana, the calm abiding or shamatha or vipassana, special insight or profound insight. So once the shamatha is achieved, then virtuous activities or whatever it's, even if it's not virtuous, if it's just a mundane job, it can be achieved very easily. First of all, the achieving or attaining the shamatha, the pliancy of the mind is very powerful. And then of course, there are so many different ways of different benefits and merits that you accumulate. But anyway, if somebody is seeking for liberation, freeing oneself from the suffering and all these problems, shamatha is the most important thing. Then, of course, if you want to embark on the journey of Buddhist practice, then of course shamatha is very important. Shamatha is the most important foundation. Then on shamatha, you can build all these other different practices like generation stage, like preliminary practice of Vajrayana, like Monroe, then generation stage practice, completion stage practice, then advanced practice like Dzogchen, Mahamudra, Madhyamika, emptiness, all this meditation teachings which are actually vipassana. So that if without attaining shamatha, without having the knowledge of shamatha, vipassana is almost like impossible. So yes, you can just study just a little bit, but you'll not realize that vipassana. So if you don't realize the vipassana, you don't see the true nature. You don't see the true nature, then you are not able to get rid of all these sufferings, which are all mental sufferings actually. So anyway, so today I'm just not going to talk about the um, what do you call the other like preliminary or preparatory phases of shamatha meditation, such as how isolating oneself from the busyness, physical physically isolating and mentally not engaging all these thoughts. I'm not going to talk deep into that. We can, if you really want me to go deep again more, I can do that in a later in a different class. Today I wanted to just go through again these 9 ways of resting the mind. This another the four mental engagements, the six powers, the five experiences, the five defects or faults, the eight antidotes. These are the terms that we have to be familiar, because when I'm talking about shamatha, I'm going to mention about these terms again and again. So anyway, so this diagram, which has elephant as a diagram of shamatha meditation, that is very famous. You must be wondering, if you Google it on internet, shamatha, you will find this diagram. And it's a very skillful way of depicting different states of shamatha that we come across when we are practicing. So it has the road, white path. So of course, white path symbolizes a path to liberation, freeing of the suffering or enlightenment. And then we have elephant, we have a monk, which should be ourself who is meditating. Then elephant, a wild elephant to be tamed. The wild elephant is our mind, untamed mind. And then there's a monkey, which is distracting, our distracted mind. So anyway, I have all this down below. So I'm going to go to the next show here. Now this is how it looks, okay, in the shamatha diagram. So probably before this, I should show you a video that's going to let you watch the video. Okay, first. Hold on. You see the video? Okay. Okay, so let's assume this is us who is meditating in an isolated place. Okay, so our mind, when we are meditating, our mind goes out, which is like a wild elephant. And you see the color of the elephant will change. The monkey is leading right now. And afterwards, the monkey will be left behind. There will be a rabbit. You will see some fruit trees. You see some fire. All this I will explain. You can just watch, okay? Okay, time off for the movie now. Okay, we'll talk about this movie now. So now I think it's easy to talk. This is the pictorial diagram of the Shamatha meditation involving elephant, ourselves as a monk over there, and then rabbit, monkey, and all this stuff. So we're going to talk about this. So, of course, the preparation to start, I don't have to mention the key point of the body, which is 7-point posture Vairocana, key point of speech, the ninefold clearing of our stale winds or the dregs of our breath, the key points of the mind, thinking that reflecting on the bodhicitta or precious mind of enlightenment, thinking that we are going to practice shamatha or vipassana for the benefit of all the sentient beings. So these are preparatory or preliminary practices that we need to engage. Okay, now first one, among the 9 stages of resting the mind, that the first one is called just resting the mind. So this is what we are doing actually. So we try to, you saw in the video that a monk sitting in the house, isolated place with all these postures on the cushion, and you saw that, and then his mind is wandering off, which is depicted in a form of the wild, untamed black elephant, and then the monkey, which is black monkey right now. So in olden days, to tame the wild elephant, what they did was they used the chain to bind the elephant, and then they used this iron hook to hit here the neck. I mean, I don't know, it's still that in places like in Thailand or in Southeast Asia they do this or not, but this is how this is analogous to taming the wild elephant, which is our mind. So the greatest enemy when we are meditating or trying to keep our mind calm is either dullness, sinking, similar, dullness, sinking, lethargy, they are the same, and then or it's agitation or going wild, scatteredness. So these are 2 greatest enemy of calming down, keeping our mind peace or calm, right? So anyway, this monkey represents the agitation of our mind, and the elephant represents the untamed mind. So this first one, and the first resting the mind, so we choose an object, like as I said, you can choose a Buddha's image, or if you're a beginner, just choose the one spot of the Buddha's image, like the mid eyebrow or tip of the nose, or just a syllable, whatever the syllable letter, or like a circle, like a mandala circle, you can choose that. Anyway, you focus on the object. So when you go through these 9 ways of resting the mind or the shamatha meditation, you go through these 4 mental engagements. So here I mentioned that the first one among the 4 mental engagement is the tightly focused engagement. You with your diligence, first you have to hear the instructions, but if you hear the instructions with diligence, you try to intensely focus on the object that you're using, because right now we are talking about the shamatha with object, right? So among the 4 mental engagements, when we are in the resting the mind, we consider that one as a tightly focused engagement. And then also we accomplish this shamatha through 6 powers. So among the 6 powers, this resting the mind is engaged through listening and study. So first we have to hear the instructions of shamatha, whatever actually, right? Not only shamatha, vipassana, whatever meditation practice that you do engage in, first you need to receive the instructions, or you have to study the instructions. So this is the first power, the power of listening or studying. Then when you engage in this practice, then you come through 5 different experiences. Among the 5 different experiences, first when we engage in this meditation practice, resting the mind, we will have the experience of movement. The experience of movement is like a steep mountain waterfall. So if you saw that behind that temple where the monk was meditating, you saw the waterfall, right? So you have that kind of, your mind is not stable. That means your mind is not stable. Your mind is moving, constantly moving. you start to notice, recognize that your mind is moving. But it doesn't mean that the scripture says that, it doesn't mean that our thoughts or conceptual thoughts like proliferated or like become more, not multiply. It is actually how it is. All the time our mind is moving, wandering constantly. So we are starting to recognize that our mind is moving. So that, and the example of that is like a steep mountain waterfall. And then with this, we should also know that there are 5 defects or 5 faults that we need to overcome when we are engaging in the shamatha meditation. So the first one is lethargy, and then attachment to negative behavior, laziness actually. These are 3 types of laziness, and despondency, right? We just postpone the things. Oh, I want to do it later. In Buddhism, like definition of laziness or the diligence is engaging in this virtuous or positive actions. If you are engaging, if you are interested in like drugs or alcohol and all those things, negative stuff, if you really work hard on that, we don't consider diligence. We call attachment to negative behavior. This is opposite of the diligence. We consider that one part of the laziness. The laziness, or we call it attachment to negative behavior, is one among the 5 defects or 5 faults of shamatha meditation. We need to overcome that. How do we overcome? We overcome these 5 defects of meditation through 8 antidotes, different antidotes. So the first among the 8 antidotes is aspiration or interest. We need to have interest in meditation. Or for example, how do we inspire ourselves or others? We think we don't want the suffering, right? I mentioned about temporary suffering and ultimate suffering. Temporary suffering such as stress, anxiety, worry, and all these problems, endless problems that we are facing, struggling right now. Ultimate suffering is we have to, wherever we in the samsara or the cyclic existence, have to die. And never ending this suffering. This is ultimate suffering. So we want to get rid of that suffering, and in order to get rid of that suffering, we need to engage in seeing the true nature, which is the vipassana, our ultimate wisdom. We need to get that. In order to gain the wisdom, realize the wisdom, we need to have the shamatha, calm abiding meditation. We have to achieve that calm abiding aspect of our mind. Otherwise, like if the water is always moving, then there's no reflection, right? So likewise, so we really need to first of all improve, like we need to inspire ourselves. We should reflect on those things, and then we should try to uplift ourselves. I really need to practice. I really need to practice meditation. I really need to know about the meditation. I really need to engage in, so that I get rid of all the sufferings, right? This kind of aspiration or interest we need to. Then after that, we have to strive. We have to engage in that practice, study, meditation, contemplation. Then also we have to have this faith. We have to have trust in that system, right? Then you gain this pliancy and flexibility. So these are things that are related to the resting of the mind. The first among the 9 ways of resting the mind, or stages of shamatha. And the next one is resting the mind longer. Okay, you rest, but then your mind, you're not used to that, right? You might go crazy. You don't want to. You can't focus on that object, whatever you have chosen. But you have to come back. You have to come back, bring back your mind. So you have to maintain that continuity. So that means the second one is resting the mind longer on that object. So yes, this is among the 4 mental engagement. This is considered as same as before, the tightly focused engagement, because still we are focusing on the object. Later on, we don't focus. Without focusing, automatically, without even striving, it automatically comes the object. Among the 6 powers is the second one is reflection or contemplation. So whatever we have, like all the instructions that you have read, that you have heard, you have to reflect, you have to contemplate, bring it again and again. So this is the second power among the 6 powers. Among the 5 experiences, this is again same. You have the experience of movement because your mind is still trying to rest the mind, but still your mind is moving, right? And then among the 5 defects, this is the forgetting the instructions here. This is forgetting the instructions, the main culprit here. Really big deal at the beginning. You have to keep them like being aware, being mindful, vigilant, all these instructions you need to keep in mind. If you're agitated or you're falling into these 2 extremes of agitation and dullness, we really need to keep this in mind, and we have to do something. We have to apply the antidote. So apply the antidote of mindfulness here. Among the 8 antidotes, we apply the antidote of mindfulness. And then here again, see this, that the color of the black elephant is changing slightly white on the top of the elephant's head. It's because the black color of the elephant represents the dullness, and then the monkey represents the agitation, right? Dullness and agitation. So dullness and agitation are 2 opposites. Dullness, you sink inside, like, right? You're non-reacting, and then finally, what will be the gross? There's also gross dullness and subtle dullness. Gross dullness, it's very easy to recognize, because gross dullness, yes, you fall asleep. Subtle dullness, you don't fall asleep, but you don't know. You're in that kind of dormant mode. You don't know. You can't say you're falling asleep, but you're not reacting, not clear. Your mind is not clear. So anyway, the black color of the elephant represents, why it's black? It represents the dullness. If it's becoming white when it goes when it walks, then it means the dullness is fading or diminishing or vanishing. And then the monkey represents agitation. So it's the second of the 9 ways of resting the mind. Now the third one is continuously resettling the mind. So again, whenever one forgets the object and becomes distracted, one should again resettle the mind. You have to bring back to the object that we are focusing again and again. And here I have another note, which again, before there wasn't rabbit, now here's rabbit. Rabbit represents a subtle dullness, not gross dullness. Gross dullness is like, you're not functioning, you're like in sleep. Subtle dullness is like the rabbit here. In the picture, you can see rabbit with white hat and a black body. And then these turnings you saw in the diagram, the elephant and all of them walking through the turning. 6 turnings represent the 6 powers, because you have to achieve this the shamatha through these 6 powers. And then I said the lasso symbolizes the mindfulness, and then the hook symbolizes iron hook. It's the one right hand carries the lasso holding the elephant, and then the left hand he is carrying the iron hook, symbolizes the vigilance. So mindfulness and vigilance, this is the most important antidote. Okay, now among the 4 mental engagements, this is called interrupted engagement. So you engage, but your engagement is interrupted with all this dullness and agitation, and then you apply again this mindfulness and vigilance, So anyway, another defect of among the 5 defects is the dullness and agitation. This is another fault that we need to overcome. Then, and among the 8 antidotes, awareness or vigilance, or sometimes translated as introspection. This is the third, and then the 4th one is fully settling the mind. So by settling in that way, resettling, then the mind becomes increasingly focused on the object now. And this is also considered the part of the interrupted engagement among the 4 mental engagements. Among the 6 powers, this is here we have to apply more the mindfulness. And then among the 5 experience, we are in the experience of movements, because we have all this experience of our mind not being stable. And then the defects here is under application, fault here at the fourth stage, because it occurs when one recognizes the presence of this dullness or agitation, but we fail to apply the antidote, which is the antidote of attention, paying attention to do. If you don't pay attention, then what will happen, right? If a thief enters your house, if you don't pay attention, then your house will be emptied, right? Taking all the valuables lying. So when this all this agitation and dullness, which are the enemy or the fault or thieves of our meditation, we have to apply the antidote to overcome it, which is mindfulness, awareness, vigilance. I mean, with that, mindfulness is, being mindful of that. Awareness, you know that, this will do something, that you have be aware of that, right? So there's a difference between mindfulness, awareness. Anyway, with this, then you have to focus back on the object of meditation. Again, I have the explanation of this, the fire here, the flames here. If you look in the diagram, the flames, they decrease and increase the size. At some point there's flame, at some point there's no flame. They indicate the degree of effort and mindfulness from the first to the seventh states. And then again, I mentioned it, that the black rabbit signifies the subtle sinking. And so you see there's like a sinking, dullness, lethargy, foggy, all this, they are similar. And then so anyway, so it becomes when you apply these methods, antidotes of mindfulness and vigilance and diligence and all these 6 powers and antidotes, then everything, all this subtle or coarse dullness or sinking, lethargy or agitation, all diminishes. Then now we have this, the 5th one, taming the mind. And then this, why it's called taming the mind, we think by thinking the qualities of samadhi or meditative absorption, meditative concentration, meditation, shamatha, samadhi, they are all actually same. So so here what happens during this taming the mind, the 5th state, we think of the qualities, then we feel greater joy for the meditation. And then this stage of the 5th state of shamatha, among the 9 ways of resting the mind, is during this we have to apply the power of awareness or vigilance, and then we have this experience of attainment. Here you will have some sort of attainment where you can have some serenity in mind, calmness in mind, but not stable. So we just call it the experience of attainment. And then when recognizes the presence of the dullness or agitation, and when we applies the antidote and continues to apply it even when the dullness or agitation is no longer, then this is over application. This is not needed. So this is again, if you under application, over application, these are both problems. So these last 2 faults are obstacles to the further development of shamatha meditation. So what do we have to do? We have to apply the antidote of equanimity. So yes, if there is no proliferation or increasing of dullness or agitation, then just relax, just leave it. That's what we have to do. And then another thing that I want to add on here is if you look in the diagram, you see 5 different pictures of 5 sense objects. You will find a picture of mirror. Mirror represents the form, which is the object of eye. Then, because see, why we get distracted, agitated, we are carried away by these 5 sense objects: form, sound that we hear, the food that we taste, the tactile, and all this. So we call these 5 sense objects. So these 5 sense objects are also there depicted in the shamatha diagram. So because this is where we get distracted or agitated or scared, our mind are carried away, go after that, right? So we have this mirror depicting the form. We have the fruit, plate of fruit, which depicting the taste. We have what was that? We have this symbol depicting the sound. We have cloth, the tactile or the touch. So all the five sense objects are there, which they are objects of they are symbolizing the objects of agitation or scatteredness. And then, so anyway, the white cloud, the white path, and also the elephant transforming into white elephant, rabbit transforming into white rabbit. They are all symbolizing the clarity and stability aspect of the mind. And then the next one, the sixth, is the pacification of the mind. So when you see the faults of the distraction, what happens here is in this stage, one's dislike for the meditation is pacified. So and it's same among the four mental engagement. This is considered a part of the interrupted engagement, the second. And then among the six powers, we have to apply the awareness of vigilance again, same as before. Among the five experience, this is the experience of attainment. The experience of the attainment is analogous to the water in a deep, narrow gorge. You far away place, you see it. You don't see like a moving, but you go inside deep, it's moving, right? It's very violently moving in the deep gorge. So like our mind, still moving our mind at this stage. And then, yes, and the defect here is over-application again. And then among the six antidotes, if there is over-application, we have to keep in equanimity mode. Now here's in this sixth stage, in the diagram you see that the monkey is lagging behind. Monkey is left behind and not before, not running before. But now we are ahead of the elephant. The elephant seems to be calmer, not running like before, and monkey also calmer. So the monkey lagging behind, it indicates the weakening of the tendency for agitation to arise first. So now monkeys, you see, even monkeys start to transform into white color. Now the next one, the seventh one, is the complete pacification of the mind. So here what happens whenever the cause of distraction such as subsidiary disturbing emotions or sleepiness or mental unease occur, they are completely pacified at this stage through all the past antidotes and powers of shamatha. You have to again apply this diligence. With diligence, you bring back all the past instructions into mind and apply them. And among the four mental engagement, this is still considered the interrupted engagement. And then here now, among the five experience, we gain the third type of experience, which is called the experience of familiarity. So it is like a great river slowly winding its way down to the sea. So again, still moving, but it's not like moving through the deep gorges. And then same, the defect here or the fault here is over-application. So when the over-application occurs, we have to apply the antidote, same as before, equanimity. And then another thing that you will see in the shamatha diagram is monkey taking the fruits. You also see some fruit trees. So monkey plucking the fruits from the fruit tree. That represents that it is necessary to prevent the mind from scattering towards the virtuous activities during the shamatha practice. Actually, normally we have to engage in the virtuous practice and avoid non-virtuous actions, right? Negative activities. But here you shouldn't have negative, non-negative, or any kind of thoughts. So this is why we have this monkey like plucking out fruit trees. Now the eighth one is one-pointedness. So then one can attain some stability through the applying of the antidotes for distraction here, distraction. So you see in the picture that elephants completely transform into white, and there's no monkey now and no rabbit, right? So distraction, dullness, agitation, subtle or coarse, all gone now. So, but you have to, and still, like, one is able to remain unaffected by the obstacles of darkness, and you are able to remain without too much exertion. So, but still, you have to apply this diligence here, the power of the diligence, and then you will have this experience of stability, like a still and placid ocean. So ocean, you can see it's not violent like the water flowing, but it is still ruffled by only occasional. It's occasional waves, you can see, right? Ripples and waves, or waves, you can see that. So again, at this time you will still have the defects of over application. You apply too much. The 6, 7, 8, you have to apply this. 8, 9, you have to apply this equanimity. And then the ninth one, this is the resting in equanimity. So finally, one is able to rest the mind on its object focal point is without effort, quite naturally, spontaneously. So you even don't have to apply any antidotes here. So it's and then among the four mental engagement is considered as effortless engagement. So this ninth stage is able to maintain our practice of shamatha effortlessly, and then among the six powers, this is called the complete familiarity. So this is intentionally you automatically get familiarized. So because the mind is unaffected by the obstacles of dullness or agitation, and so yeah, that's why we accomplish this complete familiarity. Then among the 5 experiences, this is considered as the experience of the consummation, the ultimate. It's like an oil lamp that is not blown by the wind, resting. It's very bright, clear, and unmoved by anything in a room. That is the 5th one, the experience of the consummation. And then yes, if you of course this defect, there's no defects here, and you don't have to do anything here. So this is the 9th, resting in equanimity, and then you accomplish the shamatha here. So you accomplishing shamatha is synonymous to achieving the pliancy or flexibility, the best ever flexibility that you can attain in this desire realm, the flexibility or pliancy of both our body and our mind. So you gain, and then you can just fly like this. So you're here. So if you gain the flexibility of body, you can fly like this. If you gain the flexibility of mind, you can remain here, like the pliancy of mind. You can remain on top of the elephant, white elephant, and the monk like this. So yes, so then you attain. Then you can, if you practice vipassana, then the great vipassana. Great vipassana is the unity or inseparability of shamatha and vipassana. So where we can consider realization of the emptiness directly, or realization of the Madhyamika, Mahamudra, all these advanced views, all these advanced achievements, attainments, spiritual attainments can be achieved through this. So without first gaining the shamatha, you cannot gain the vipassana, actually, the result of the vipassana, which is profound insight, seeing the true nature. So that's why, anyway, this is the general rough explanation, and we can go detail into each of these, and then you can just think of this. You can just, if you have any question, you can just write down and ask to me. So now, with what we have to know, the nine ways of resting the mind, or 9 stages of shamatha, 4 mental engagements, and 6 powers, 5 defects, and then 8 antidotes, and 5 experiences. So these are 2 terms that if you if you want to familiarize it, you can familiarize with these terms. So then you know what's going on. You know how to describe what's going on when you are practicing. If you want to share to others, you know how to describe. Otherwise, you end up, oh, I'm going out scattering, or I'm just sinking in. You only know these two, you know, so you don't know how to describe much. So anyway, I'm just sharing it at a glance. I can email you this file, and you can just. But again, when you are practicing, when you're engaging in shamatha, you choose the object, whatever you want. First, if you don't want to go to the object, you can just focus on the breath, counting the breaths. Then choose the object. When you choose the object, you choose, like I said, neutral object or something divine object like Buddha's image, or like whatever the deity you like it, or the mantra syllable, and focus on just one part of that. Then gradually you just increase the field of focal point. Then later on, automatically, even if you just close your eyes, don't gaze at the object, automatically come to your mind. Then you can use that mental image to focus. Then you can do without distraction. Then you can gain that kind of stability. But right now, because we don't have, first of all, we don't have perfect circumstances. Always there is a disturbance, right? Physical disturbance, mental disturbance, because we are living in somewhere among many different people, individual society. Yes, but we could still try our best, like take from our busy schedule 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You do it. If you just in the scriptures, instruction manuals, it said that if you could try for 6 months shamatha without practice shamatha, you will gain this the 9th stage of shamatha. Then after that, whatever you practice, if you want to practice, then vipassana, all this, whatever in the Vajrayana, we have the highest level of teachings called Dzogchen, great perfection. Everything, the introduction to pointing out nature of the mind, everything is bestowed or imparted. That individual will easily get it. And then it's going to be, because they have very good foundation. And I personally have noticed that in the West, who have done a long shamatha meditation, when they engage in like Vajrayana practices like a preliminary or generation visualization, deity yoga practice, and then completion stage, great perfect practice, they could do it very well, very easily, because they have stability in the mind. Otherwise, those people who directly go to different advanced Vajrayana practices without any foundation, they cannot even focus, they go crazy. Anyway, but those practices, like advanced practices, also has this instruction automatically. Like I said, in iPhone 16, all these features there is in iPhone 10, 12, 13, automatically there. It's there. But if you know all these basic stuffs, even if you cannot master or the shamatha or vipassana, if you have a general like a gross knowledge of this, right? Then you can have, this is what, later on when you engage in this deep, profound meditation practice, and especially the profound insight, vipassana and all these things, it's going to be very beneficial. First of all, if we don't have shamatha, calm abiding, we cannot function actually. Even in the mundane level, we cannot concentrate. That's why we lose patience. We don't have patience to do anything. So what we have to do is just like based on our degree of shamatha, the calm abiding meditation practice, then our other practice will prosper. So this is what I want to share you today. So let's try to do some practical meditation together, and then we will have Q&A if you have any question. Okay, so let's try that breathing, counting the breaths, and then try to do the counting of the breaths, and then I can give you depict an object here, so that you can meditate on that and see how it works. Okay, first counting the exhalation and inhalation. Start. Okay, now you can focus. I'm again when you counting the breath. I think you can close your eyes if you want, because less distraction. Then, of course, when you're focusing on the object, using the object, you have to open the eyes, but not widely open, not closed. So it's like a perfect gaze without blinking. And then I mentioned before that the object should be perfect distance from your eyes, right? Not down, not up, so that you don't have to bend down or like do it like this. You just and then your teeth and lips barely touching, so you can naturally breathe, exhale and inhale, barely perceptible. You don't like you don't have to breathe very hard, because if you open your mouth wide, you're going to breathe very hard. Your breath going to be exhausted, right? So that's why it's very important. It's also called a gentle breath or mid breath. So you can keep in that way, and of course the body posture you have to keep up straight, and not leaning to anything. And then yes, then you begin before beginning you expel the stale wind, right? So I mentioned that before. So like this, you still. But here, the expelling or clearing the dregs of the breath, so many different traditions. But what I taught last time is just right. Press the bottom of the ring finger and make this fist. It's called Vajra fist, and then keep your press the back of the wrist. Keep here like this on the joining of the thigh and hip, and then inner part, and then just swirl with the left hand and block the left nostril. Exhale from the right nostril with the visualization that you expel the wind of the anger, the smoky color. Then you keep this down again, swirl this right fist, and then block the right nostril and exhale from the left nostril. Think that the air or wind or energy or related to desire in the color of brown is expelled, and then alternate again, same from the right nostril, same from the left nostril. This time the color is brighter. Now very clear from both the nostrils the third time, and then from both the nostrils, first a dark blue color, and then a second lighter, and the third very clear. We are expelling the wind, or the wind sometimes translated as subtle energy. You can find this term used. It is actually breath. Then you are expelling the breath of ignorance or delusion. 3 times. Then you think that your whole body is purified. All the negative poisonous, the winds or the breaths of 3 poisons with all these negative energies, illnesses, everything is purified, and you become pure, suitable candidate, suitable vessel for practicing the meditation. You think that right then. You think that you just rest a little bit, and you think that I'm going to do this meditation practice, shamatha meditation practice, that sooner or later I'm going to get rid of all these sufferings, temporary and ultimate, not just for myself, but all the sentient beings, and I'm going to be completely liberated, freed into this enlightenment or the Buddhahood, the state free of all the sufferings. You think that way, so this becomes the positive or virtuous beginning. Then you engage into all this different the practices of shamatha with object, shamatha without object, or shamatha with support, shamatha without support. So I'm going to today I shared these terms. Now tomorrow, next session, I'm going to talk of shamatha, different objects of shamatha, and shamatha, when we say shamatha without object or support, what we mean. All these things I'm going to talk later. So today, again, if you have any questions, yeah, let's try to work on these questions. Let's do. I mean, I want to do a Q&A. Do you have any questions? Does
I had a
anyone have?
question about using equanimity as an antidote.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't think I understood really how that works.
Yeah, so among these nine stages mentions at the end, right? For example, you see it doesn't here. So the first and second is mindfulness, third is awareness or vigilance, the fourth stage attention, fifth from it starts from fifth stage of shamatha equanimity. So of course, if there is dullness or agitation, what we have to do, we have to be mindful, vigilance, we have to be watchful, right? And then if you agitation means we are distracted, scared, we are going after these objects, whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever like comes to other past, present, future thoughts comes to our mind, it goes after them, not goes to the our mind doesn't go to the object. So we are not focused. So in order to, oh, you have to be, oh, I'm going all the distraction, I'm distracted to these objects. You come back to focus to the object. This is vigilance or aware or mindfulness you have to. But even if you are able to, you're not going anywhere, not distracted, not falling, not sinking in the dullness. You still, oh, I have to. If you keep thinking, oh, I have to be careful, vigilant, mindful. That is kind of like over application, right? Or even if you are sinking or like in the dullness, if you are falling into dullness or sinking or lethargy or fogginess, or if you are like agitated, you don't do anything, that is under application. It's almost like a laziness. So right, so you don't go into that any, especially after obligate over application. So this is the equanimity comes after when the over application comes, not for others. So when you over application, don't do it. It means don't react, don't do anything. It means, so equanimity means leave it in that kind of state. Equanimity means, or basically saying don't do anything, no reaction.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, is there any questions? Don't worry, if you don't have questions, you can yeah, you can ask later too, or you can just email me or text me. Shamatha, it says achieved in 6 months. You can achieve it in 6 months. It's not a difficult, but we don't have time to like continuously meditate for 6 months, right? So like yeah, you can even do for a few years. Even if you're a practice like someone, if some of you are like advanced practitioner, this is very helpful. Shamatha Vipassana is very helpful. It's like they're like you get like somebody who is like say a great perfection practitioner, if they have the shamatha background, and then if they're like the master give pointing out instruction on that, it's going to be like very fast, it's very like swift. There are some distinctions or like what do you call the difference between that advanced method and this one, but this one is going to be serve as a very good foundation for that. So it's anyway, it's very helpful. And then of course, on the mundane level, if you want to just want to use like relieving oneself from the stress or anxiety, worry, of course, this is helpful. Also, lower down all. I mean, if you want to bring all these physical benefits, of course, this is you can use it. But I'm talking from the point of a spiritual practice of a Buddhist path, different approaches of Buddhist systems, especially towards the attaining the enlightenment, not just this minor trivial things of just releasing this, like relieving the stress and anxiety. Of course, you can do that. All right. You don't have any questions? Okay, then if you don't have any questions, don't worry. We can move forward. I mean, we can conclude with the dedication. If you have, you can ask me. No question? Anyway, again, another thing is don't be overwhelmed with this all these terms and these pictures. Don't be overwhelmed. Take it easy. It's not. Yeah, take it easy. Don't be overwhelmed. This is just yes. It's not that difficult actually. Yes, just when you try to find out familiarize with this term, then you get overwhelmed. But later on, nothing. You feel like that. So don't worry. Anyway, it's very. I can like what I'm saying is practically what you do. Even if you don't know these terms, just engage in these preliminaries of the key points of body, speech, and mind. Then focus on whatever the object you want. Choose, just do it as long as you want to do it. I mean, don't do long, boring. Just do short, frequent. Whenever you get time, in a perfect place, isolated place, in a room or wherever, under the tree, in a park or mountain or by the ocean, whatever you just do as much as you can do, and then don't worry if you have any experiences of movement such as like cascade or waterfall or water falling from the rock cliff, or if you sink into this it's like a dormant state, you are non-reacting, all this, don't don't worry. Anyway, just keep in equanimity, just do as much as you can, and then but you know being aware, like not just dormant. Like dormant is like you fall into sleep. It's not like that. You have to have clarity, vividness. That if you have clarity and vividness, then yes, you can, even if you drive, you have this shamatha, single pointedly focusing on the driving. If you are driving and you lost mind, that's not shamatha, I think. You are going into that kind of shamatha which is dormant state. Not a shamath, not a very good shamath, I think, dormant state. Yes, it is important to have, you will have that kind of experience, but you have to have this clarity aspect too. Okay, okay. I'll do some dedication prayers. So I just dedicate this um, prayers for the benefit, welfare, well-being of all the sentient beings, and then the peace and prosperity of this world. So nam de damje zebanye tonne ngebe da nam hamje jin ke ga na je balong to ba seven so learn to one do show. Okay. Have a nice evening. Good evening. Good
Yeah.
night.
Bye.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Khenpo.
Kim.